And I don't think I would have been here in my position without several mentors that I had starting probably as early as graduate school. And as I moved through my career and I had several mentors, I realized that it was a pay it forward, that I enjoyed mentoring people because I had been mentored. And I find it is important in the process of me giving back to students and people who work for me or have been students for me in leadership positions to help them grow, because as I was telling someone earlier, I won't always be in higher education, and I want to make sure that there are people who take my place that have been properly prepared for their positions.
Do you have any particular tips or strategies that you use when helping people along?
I think sometimes the best thing I can think of is when people ask me for advice. I don't tell people I'll be your mentor. I actually think it comes more naturally when a relationship develops and people ask me for advice, and then that relationship sort of becomes what it is, and they see me as a mentor. I never claim to be someone's mentor. They actually sign and choose me, and I love doing that. I think that there are several ways that people find mentors. I think that sometimes a relationship develops and people find that they find someone to be a mentor, so that person becomes a mentor. I also know that in my own career I have sought out people who are experts in certain areas and asked them if they would choose, allow me to be their mentee so that I could shadow them for certain projects or certain job functions so that I could learn a little more. The relationships aren't necessarily as as in-depth as ones that have nurtured over a couple of years.
My first mentor was when I was a peer advisor when I first got the position in my freshman year. The director of orientation was someone who saw something in me that I didn't even see in myself. She saw than what I was already doing. And because of her is the reason why I kept going and doing a lot of other things at FIU. And if it weren't for her, I don't think that would have happened.
I truly believe that, if somebody needs to pick up the phone and call their mentor, I think that people will answer the phone. And I think that as relationships change, you find that you need your mentors more or less. I know that I've had one mentor for over 20 years, and I need him less now than I did in my earlier part of my career. So as a mentor, I'm always available. So I know that I can go months, sometimes years, and all of a sudden my phone will ring, and it will be somebody just seeking my advice.
All right, so I want to tell you guys a little bit about mentorship. I think sometimes the word mentors are just thrown around a lot without a lot of thought behind it. A true mentoring relationship is intentional. You create it with somebody, you follow up with them, and you continue to work with them for ideas for professional development, social development, or even cognitive development. So it's not just, hey, let's be a mentor. No, you've actually have created a sustainable relationship with them. For example, my relationship with my mentor is very strong. He serves as a role model for me for multiple things, but he also is there as a sounding board because I feel like I can go to him for advice at any time, and he also gives me unsolicited feedback. So he's like, Franklin, that's a bad idea, don't do it, or I think that's a great idea, and he also challenges me. So that's that level of support and challenge, and I feel trust and credibility with him, so I don't feel like things said in private are going to be said out loud. For me, in acting like a mentor, I sort of use his role model as a guide. The same thing, I want to be there for anybody who sees me as a mentor. I want to be there for them, whether it's for personal, whether it's professional, whether it's for social. But a truly meaningful mentoring relationship has two things. It has integrity and credibility, trust, communication, but also an ability to hold them accountable, because they're feeling comfortable to come to you, and you need to feel comfortable to hold them accountable. So the idea of a mentor really is sort of like, a guide on the path and through life. They're there for the good times, they're there for the bad times, they're there to give you that feedback that you're soul searching for.
Well, while facilitating on leadership retreats this past year, I really got my fair share of mentoring. Myself, I mentored others, and that would be a good example was during intimate groups that we would have with smaller groups. I was their role model, and I helped facilitate discussions, and I noticed afterwards that these students or the participants who went on these leadership retreats, they would come up to me and they would thank me for a good job facilitating or how to lead a discussion, or and it was really meaningful, and it helped me notice that everyone can be a mentor, that anyone can do it, that anyone could be that role model for someone else and set a good example. So.